And now, the big shot. Brought to you by Nikon, at the heart of the image.
Previously on The Big Shot, the photographers roamed the streets of Yogyakarta like photojournalists trying to find the unseen. From their shots, we saw Vignesh getting eliminated, Cheryl winning Pick of the Week, and Jana leaving the judging room in tears. 6 photographers are left in the competition, but somebody has to be kicked out in this episode of The Big Shot.
Behind every painting is an artist that has a unique vision of the world. Look at this. What is the creator trying to say? Well, our photographers are about to find out on the one and only The Big Shot. Hello, photographers. Welcome to the location of your next challenge. As a photographer, you know it's very important to make your subject comfortable. In saying that, I've got the challenge right here. Good luck.
The theme for this week's challenge is portrait photography. Our photographers have been challenged to take a photograph that best depicts the caption, "I am you." They have been given 15 minutes to complete this challenge. This is Joko Perkit, a painter. His source of inspiration comes from the poor people around him and the 7 years he spent locked up in prison by the government for being a communist sympathizer. Prison made him eager to paint curses at the people who trampled on him. Today, those very paintings are worth $100,000 US.
Time starts now.
Dengan dia bahasa Inggris, ada menerjemahkan bahasa Indonesia, ada nggak?
Saya boleh bahasa
Indonesia?
Melayu, boleh. Sikit.
Melayu bisa?
Bisa. Boleh tangkap gambar?
Boleh.
Boleh?
Potret, boleh.
Sini ya. I'm quite strong with portrait. When I saw the challenge, I was quite excited. He's very comfortable in front of camera. I don't need to tell him so much about anything, and he can start moving. Actually, I need to get the angle that I like, so I have to tell him to look here, look there. Ya, boleh? Pak biasa suka buat apa?
Saya kegiatannya saya sebagai pelukis, melukis. Tahu.
I asked him that what he likes to do, and he told me in the daytime he'll do painting, and sometimes he'll cycle. At night he probably will play some gamelan. So I want to use some painting as background a little bit, and show his character.
Why did you decide to move to that area and not where the big canvas was?
Because the sun just patrolling through the bamboo leaves, so it gave a little bit of a highlight here and there, and I kind of like the kind of lighting, so I decided to use that.
Do you think you have an added advantage because you could speak Bahasa?
Not really, actually. Because I speak Bahasa, but he actually speaks Indonesian. You know, the language somehow there's a little bit different. Terima kasih ya. Terima kasih.
In my mind, I was trying to figure out how to best capture the emotion or personality of this person. Because portrait, anybody can just pose for you anything. So I think that's the biggest challenge I face.
You took a while before you actually spoke to him. Was that your strategy?
Based on the information given to me about this artist, he was more solemn and not really somebody who likes attention. So probably he's someone who he just like to work alone and not disturb. So I thought I want to capture this element. Hello, can I use foot here? Okay. My aim is to capture him as well as to show a part of his painting. Honestly, right now I just aim not to be the worst, to be honest.
Hi, nice to meet you. From what I see, is like he's someone that has gone through a lot in life and probably uses art to share with people what I've gone through, what I felt. Can he move back and sit there? When I try to shoot, I want to keep it real in a sense that I want to show emotions in a picture. I want people to go, oh, you know, that kind of feeling. So that's a challenge for myself, actually. Yeah. Can he play with this? Like go over, then dance with her? Yeah. Finish. Habis.
Initially, I wanted to have those playing the music to be part of the photograph, but then I thought it might be also a bit distracting to the judges. So I opted with a frame with just him and his painting. And basing on that caption, I am you, I wanted to reflect myself from him or into him, where he creates his images through painting while I create my images through a digital camera. Being an artist, I think probably he knows what I want, and he just posts there like telling me, look, this might be your best shot with me painting, so I just shoot on.
Hello, Joko. Hi, I'm Caleb. Can you ask him what is his style of painting it is like? Social realism. I kind of figured, you know, those guys that just like to do realism, their personality comes out of who they are as painters. He's the kind of painter that just wants to be just left alone, just wants to paint and just do his own thing. So I kind of approached the whole portrait session according to his own as a painter. Jack, can you stay right here by the time? Thanks.
You kept asking for time to be called out. Were you very worried about that?
Right, because one of the things as a photographer, you always put into a time constraint. You are given 15 minutes. They just like to know at what point of time that you are at, so that you know how much time there's left for you to try other things.
Hi Pak Joko, saya Jana. I was very intrigued with his character, the way he paints and how easygoing and happy-go-lucky he is with the music at the background, dancing as we go along. I just went with my feelings and just shoot what I thought could be right. Tengok saya aja ya.
Tengok kamera ya.
Yeah. Terima kasih. I was trying to get some dramatic effect. At first, I didn't use any flash or reflector because I want to see what's the natural light going to be like, and I kind of like it, so I already got my shot. So the last few minutes, I was just trying to experiment with flash and reflectors. I didn't manage to use a reflector though. But I guess the natural light was fine just now. Terima kasih.
Kok bisa bahasa Indonesia bukan Melayu?
Belajar sikit-sikit je.
Kamu sudah lulus SMP?
SMP?
Ya.
SMP apa? Junior ya.
Sudah lulus? Sudah.
Muka muda ya?
Wow. Baru 16 ya?
Iya.
4 tahun ya?
Terima kasih.
Selamat.
The title of this shot is Mirrored Passion. This subject is an established painter. He expressed himself through his painting. As a photographer, I feel I'm very related to him because I express myself through photo as well. The background is his painting, and this reflects of himself, his style, and this photo actually reflects on me.
I really like this image more than any of the other images that we've seen in the series. I think this really captures some character. The smoke is wonderful, well timed. The only criticism I have really is just that the composition is a little awkward. There's no need for so much space at the bottom, I would say, and to give a bit more at the top. And the fact that his hand holding the cigarette has been kind of clipped off a bit before it should have been. So if you'd sort of pulled back a little, you'd have got more of the hand in, and perhaps included a bit more of the background that you mentioned, the painting, just to make it slightly clearer that that's what it is. But a great shot, well done.
Thank you very much.
Once again, nice shot, black and white, I like that. For me personally, I'm okay with this framing, but it's just not even so much the hand, it's just the cigarette smoke, the ash itself that's being cropped off right there, that I would actually like to see all of it. Other than that, it's good. I like it.
Thank you very much.
What I like about this shot is if you look at it on print, the black and white really strikes out a little bit more than what we see on TV. I also like the smoke that you created, that depth. Yeah, it gives a little bit more character to the shot. Out of all this, I like this shot best.
Thank you very much.
When I was brought to the location, I let him do his painting before I take any shots. In the end, I decided to do a natural shot of him painting, doing what he's passionate about. In this shot, I wanted to capture a close-out look of his face. I also want to show part of his painting in my picture. I submitted this picture because I like the overall colors. Usually I pay attention more to colors. Coincidentally, the painting at this point of time also shows lots of shades of green and yellow on the painting.
I do like the colors, which you've put a lot of focus in, but I think that is the only thing I really do love about this image. I think the framing, even though his face calls attention for me to look at it, but there's such a huge expanse of empty space in the center. So I'm not really sure what my eyes should be drawing to. For me, that's just something that's not working for me.
Okay.
It's really vibrant, like you said it is. And of course, it grabs a lot of attention. But in portraits, most of the time, the eyes play a very important part. In this case, I've been staring at your image, and I've noticed that the metering is more on the beard and stuff, yeah? To me, that's a very big problem. If I want to catch a person's expression, I want a pathway to communication. Eyes is a very important thing, yeah? It's all right for me. It's not really my favorite shot, but I think you did a good attempt, yeah?
Right, thank you.
I like the colours, but for me, the framing, there's just too much space in the middle, and also the eye contact does feel a little bit forced. For a more natural shot, he might just have been, you know, focused and concentrated on the work that he's doing. But as I said, not bad.
All right, thank you.
Cheryl, the pick of the week, the last episode. So, judging from the history of this competition for this season, should you be nervous going in there after what happened to Vignesh?
I hope to break that trend, and I guess each challenge has its variation, so it's different, and I'll just go in and present anyway without, isolating everything else that happened before that. The title of this photo is Celebrating Life. So Park Joko, despite all that he has been through in political prison and all that, he actually maintains this upbeat attitude towards life. So when I got there, he was actually dancing with some of the traditional dancers. So I saw this youthfulness and jubilance in him. And like him, I'm a happy-go-lucky person, try to take everything with a sense of optimism. So I wanted to portray this side of him through my photo as a reflection of my own personality in line with the caption, I'm you.
I like this shot a lot because it captures him in a very natural state. It's also very vibrant because you've got all the colors involved. Yeah. What really disturbs me was that hand. It looks too huge to be in frame, so maybe you should have pulled back a little bit and zoomed in to get a tighter shot to make it nicer. But overall, you tried really hard and you got an awesome shot out of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
This shot doesn't really work for me. I like how you captured him naturally, like happy and everything, but distortion with the hand, I find that really, really distracting. The watch doesn't go with all these green and blue hues at the back. It sticks out a lot because it's a reflective and metallic surface.
I thought that this just seemed a bit sort of snapshotish, and that's not necessarily because he's smiley and happy, but more to do with what's been mentioned, about the lens distortion and that kind of thing. It's not even clear from this that he's dancing, so I think that if you'd either gone wider and shown that he's dancing or just gone and flipped back and zoomed in for a tighter, it's not too bad, but I think that it's not as strong as the other things that we've seen from you.
Thank you.
So,
oops.
Wasn't what you expected?
I really don't know. I just hope that it would at least be good enough to progress to the next round.
Yeah, in this portrait of Park Joko doing what he does best, painting, is what I wanted to show as a reflection of myself being a photographer. I wanted to show that we share the same passion of creating images. Park Joko creates beautiful images through canvas and paints, while a photographer like myself creates my images through light and camera.
When I first looked at your image, I didn't like it, but the more I looked at it, the more it's growing on me, actually. I think that you were quite brave to shoot so wide and bring in so much of the surrounding environment, and I think that's worked really well. And creative use of the off-camera flash, that's worked all right as well. It may just be you want a bit more of a balance. I think so much of the bottom of the trees has fallen into complete darkness, and if you had the time at the bottom, just where the bright green behind, you'd cover that up. The only other thing I can mention about the composition, there's a bit much space at the left, and the edge of the canvas at the right is just a bit close to the edge of the frame. But otherwise, a good shot, I like it.
Thank you.
For me, the lighting on the red shirt is too stark, and everything else is pretty much falling in darkness, the trees and then like his pants. For me, it's kind of too distracting because you have two very bright spots, the sun and also his shirt. And this was his home. I'm sure he has papers or something that you could, use as a diffuser. If you had a diffuser, I think it would look much better. I would encourage you to experiment more with, what is given to you rather than being locked down on one idea.
I like the fact that you try and off the with the lights, yeah. What I like also about the image is that it actually looks as if it separates from the foreground, midground, and the background. So that's kind of cool to see. Yeah? It looks a little bit more lively than sort of a flat picture that we've been having so far. So overall, I think it's a well-thought shot and it's a beautiful one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. This is a painter. Why I photographed him painting is that he is lost in his passion in the art of painting. So the concentration of my focus is just purely on him. And you can actually see his concentration on his painting as if that he is just lost in his surrealism. And that is his style of a painting that he likes to do.
Personally, for me, I think there is too much of the painting being shown in this picture. What I really like is his intensity and his focus, as you mentioned, for the painting. That is something which I didn't see in the other contestants' entries, and you know, it's a good fresh change for me. But with the composition, I'm not sure to focus on the area where he's painting or the whole area on the right where it's, you know, completely empty, right? I think if you cropped in a lot more, where the frame just kind of stops past the first figure he painted, I think that would make a great shot.
What bugs me most is actually, it looks too reddish on the shot. So I'm not sure whether that's the actual skin tone that you're going to go for. Or
right. Yeah, I understand.
Always figure out your white balance before you shoot. Besides that, I have no qualms over this.
I like the line the painting leads us in to the artist, but I think, yeah, just bring it in, there's maybe a bit too much, just bring it in slightly. I like that you've photographed the artist in a natural way, you know, no eye contact. And as Imran said, there's a little reddish in his skin tones. But other than that, good work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just based on what the judges had to say about your photograph, do you think you're going home?
I do not think so. But though the problematic part is just that white balance, so I'm not sure how big of a deal is it going to be.
Hi, Jana. The last time we met here, ended up in tears. Do you think you'll be better this time around?
I hope so. Depends on the judges again. This was part Joko. When we first introduced, we shook hands, and he said, "My name is Joko Pekek, and I'm a painter with a lot of confidence." Hence, I decided to capture him while he's painting, but not just while he's painting, but his emotions while he's painting. And in fact, when I call out his name, this was his first reaction when he looked at me, his first facial expression. And I decided to do black and white because there's too much colors on his canvas that may distract the viewers from him. So I decided to go black and white so that they kind of focus more on him.
I like the fact that you chose black and white, but it needs a little bit more contrast. Yeah? I felt that, again, you were too safe. But you had 15 minutes to work with it, you know? You should have tried a little bit more, look at the different angles, push in and out with the cameras, have some fun with the guy, but you didn't. So to me, it looks a little bit flat. Yeah, this is not much for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the framing this time. We've talked about your composition previously, and I like seeing an improvement on that. This framing, it completely works for me. But what I think lacks for the punch might be in the contrast of the photograph. If there was more of that, I think, you know, in terms of light and shadows, it will make the image a lot more dramatic, and that would definitely help the mood of this picture being in black and white as well.
The framing works for me. It's simple, but it's effective. It's just balancing the tones properly, getting the lights in the right place and the darks in the right place, and explore how it looks from other angles and how the light looks on his face, how it looks on the painting. But otherwise, not bad.
Thank you.
Another tough round of judging. 6 photographers remain in this competition. Unfortunately, one of you will leave at the end of this episode. When I call out your name, please step forward. Cheryl. Marvin?
Marvin, your work has been consistently strong throughout, and I hope that we'll see more of that. Your photograph this week was exceptional, and we've chosen it as Pick of the Week. Congratulations. Thank you.
Caleb? Jana?
Hi, Caleb. Your images so far haven't been the strongest, and this round there has been a little bit of improvement in terms of the intensity of the artist, but the defense in wanting to accentuate red in skin tone, but when it doesn't read well as a skin tone, then it just doesn't work for us, you know.
Jana, I'm sorry, but you have to understand the importance of a competition. The image that you shown wasn't strong. So to me, that image that you shot was a very big problem. It didn't show enough quality of your work.
Three of you stand in front of the judges right now. You are in the bottom three. Cheryl, you won Pick of the Week, but as we know from previous episodes, that may not necessarily be a good thing. I can tell you this much, it was very close among the bottom three. And the next photographer to leave the competition is Cheryl. When your name was called out together with Moven, did you think top two again? What did you think then?
I was expecting like one of you being top together, one has to go home. I was prepared to be in the bottom, but I was keeping my fingers crossed that I would stay for the next round.
Based on everything else you've seen as well, do you think that this week you deserve to go home?
I tried a really different concept, but I guess I didn't do a good enough shot to portray that. The concept was probably good, but the technicalities didn't work.
We're gonna miss you.
It was a shocking exit for Cheryl, and another irony because she, like Attilo, had won the booster prize in a later episode. Who will be next?
Never miss another episode. Catch up on Sin MSN Now.
Hope you have enjoyed The Big Shot. Brought to you by Nikon, at the heart of the image. In the next episode of The Big Shot.
All the judges were unanimous in terms of describing all your pictures. Very unimpressed.
For sure, but you can do.
Composition could have been a little bit better.
The first thing that grabs my attention is that blurriness that's happening.
Don't see its relevance to the theme.
Great picture.
It has colours which are vivid without being too much.
So simple that it's beautiful.
The Big Shot, next Wednesday at 9 p.m. on 5. Brought to you by Nikon, at the heart of the image.